Hi there, business owner, and welcome to the 3Bs podcast, the place where we go beyond the numbers and dive into strategies to help you build a better business one step at a time. I'm your host, Stephanie, a multi-award-winning entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in the bookkeeping and accountancy world. If you're a business owner looking to streamline, grow, and get back the time that you deserve, you're in the right place. We're tackling real-world problems, answering tough questions, and digging deep into business-building secrets in just 15 minutes each week. So are you ready to build a better business with confidence and clarity? Then let's go. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the 3Bs podcast, your go-to 15 minutes of CPD certified motivation, inspiration and education. And this week we have a guest with us for a nice change. So Nicole, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, and thank you so much for having me on the pod. I'm Nicole Louise Geddes. I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur with several kind of strings to my bow. I'm a professional performer by trade and pivoted into entrepreneurship. I think that kind of explains it all. It's varied and it's wild and it's wonderful.
Absolutely. And for those that don't know, Nicole also has a podcast. So do you want to introduce your podcast as well? Because I can never get the name right.
The Showbiz Side Hustle podcast. And it's basically helping performers and other creatives to pivot away from the spotlight and step into new and exciting entrepreneurial roles.
Amazing. And Nicole kindly had me as a guest, so I'm returning the favour. We are all a great big family, these podcaster families. I love having fellow podcasters on the pod. But today I wanted to talk about being unemployable. I talked about it a few weeks ago on the podcast. Entrepreneurs are naturally usually unemployable. I know I definitely am. And when we spoke, you said you were too. So tell us about your story and kind of how you realised that you were unemployable and how that led you into entrepreneurialism.
It's funny because when you pointed it out, I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. And I was employable, self-employed, but equally as a performer, you're, self-employed status, but performing and being in contracts and being employed in shows and contracts and circuses. This is my life and my journey abroad, here, there, everywhere. And it's all fabulous. And it's an absolute passion of mine. I absolutely wanted and was desperate to be a performer from a very young age. It was something that was just, absolutely had to happen for me. And I made it happen. And when I got there and, I'd done all the training through my younger years, I'd gone to professional dance college, I graduated, I got my first professional role, I'd been a performer as a singer, as a dancer, as a circus artist. And then, I got there and I'm living the dream and it literally was my dream. And then I'm suddenly feeling really suppressed and really out of my comfort zone. I'm really like, this isn't what it was meant to be. And the bit of the puzzle that you've kind of really highlighted just this week when we're talking is that I was unemployable. I didn't like being told what to do. And there's a real kind of old school way of doing things in the entertainment industry, which is dancers should be seen and not heard. And I know it's changing. And I know that people are really like jumping up and shouting about this kind of, we can't be like that, everyone's individual, but you're in a lineup of performers, you're in a kick line, you're one of many, you're an ensemble, you're not the lead, and you live in this dream, but something inside me was suppressed. And so I stepped very, very swiftly out of the spotlight. I probably retired from the performing industry, in many people's opinions, way too soon. But it really did boil down to the fact that I didn't like being told what to do. And I needed to create my own way of doing things. I needed to be able to lead and make decisions and follow the purpose amongst the passion, not just the passion.
I love it. I didn't know you didn't realize it. Like, unemployable is just me in a bow. Whether it was because I didn't like being told what to do, whether it's because I need the freedom around my family and my care and responsibilities, I'm just unemployable. Business ownership was just for me. And for everyone listening or watching on YouTube, they're probably the same. And it's nice to hear that you pivoted, because I talk so often on the podcast about in business, it's okay to change and pivot, and that main goal might not actually end up being the goal you want, and actually it's okay to change. I think a lot of business owners are scared to change. So where did the pivot take you and where are we now?
I mean, it's so scary, and I was scared, and you kind of have to sit back and go, well, what does it look like if I continue, and what does it look like if I dare to leap and change? And because of that bit of me and the listeners, of that employability, of that leader in you, of that person that wants to do things differently, which is primarily what we all are as entrepreneurs, you're going to have that bit of your brain that tells you that it will work out really anyway, because you'll make it so when you sit at that crossroads of do I, don't I literally just was like, well, I'm going to face criticism. I'm sure I'm going to have some imposter syndrome and self-doubt, but ultimately I will do the things that will make it work. And so there was really no question. I had to pivot. I had to try. So I did leave the industry prematurely. I did set out as an entrepreneur with absolutely no knowledge of what that was going to be, how easy or hard it was going to be, whether I would, I knew I would succeed to a degree, but what that looked like was very uncertain to me. It just was this tenacity to make it happen and to do it my way and to not be, employed and told what to do. So long story short, I created my own opportunities. I took what I loved, the performing, the industry, the showbiz, the spotlights, and I created Manic Stage Productions, which is still running now, 20 years later, 2025 now. So 20 years later, it's in its 20th year. It's still running now. It did exactly what we've just talked about on the podcast. I just set up a business, handed out a few flyers, registered with HMRC that I was doing it like this. And there I was at the very beginning of my journey, creating my own opportunities to perform. So I was going to lead the way and be in charge of that. That very swiftly grew into having a performance troupe, a group of performers, becoming similar to an agency, but with very different ethos because of my experience of not wanting to be told what to do. It was very much more collaborative, a community and a collaboration and a industry go-to that's still successful today. So yeah, very proud of it when I look back and think, gosh, where did that start? It started from just this moment of, oh my God, I can't be told what to do today, and tomorrow I'll make my own way.
I think that's it, isn't it? And I think we don't often look back as business owners. We often spend so much time doing the thing we're doing, providing that product, providing that service, that we don't often step back and look. And I think, yeah, if anyone's listening to this and you haven't looked back, just have a little look back, or come and apply to be a guest on the podcast and we'll go back and give you that review. But what I love is that you've taken all your expertise and all your experience and put it into helping others do exactly what you did, but better. You don't need to reinvent the wheel as an entrepreneur. You don't need to come up with a completely new business idea that's never existed. You just need to take either what you know and love or something that already exists and make it better. And I think you've done that really well, and I do love that. So a couple of questions that I always ask guests on the podcast is, what was your biggest challenge and how have you overcome it, I guess, in the business world since you've been an entrepreneur?
So I know COVID was a huge challenge for everyone, but it feels necessary to pinpoint that moment, because that's when I pivoted again and created a second business, which is where this multi-passionate business owner comes from. And so it was the pandemic, because if you imagine, I created this huge and exciting, wonderful business in the arts, providing entertainment on land and at sea, and suddenly, like everybody's world, it stopped. The world stopped spinning and we were all stuck. And there's no woe is me here, but the entertainment industry was the last to come back around. And then add cruise ships, which were even later on that kind of timeline. And my main business and my huge contracts were at sea. So it was a kind of really crazy, scary time. And the same questions crossed my mind. What does it look like if I don't move and don't change and don't pivot and don't find new ways? And what does it look like if I take the leap and give it a go? And so that was the biggest hurdle. But without sounding, arrogant, it didn't feel like a hurdle to me, because I'd done it before and I'd done it with real uncertainty the first time. The second time I pivoted, yes, COVID was uncertain, but my ability to create a business wasn't uncertain. Like, I'd done that. So I just used my knowledge to create a community. Again, that's what I thrive on: community, collaboration. And I helped other performers to pivot through the pandemic, was the kind of the tagline. Let's pivot through the pandemic. Let's turn your passion, into profit. Let's do all these things. Let's build new businesses. Let's find new ways. This is how I'm going to do it. Come along for the journey with me. So it was a huge hurdle. And I did succeed, and I've got 2 businesses. But I think, you know, in terms of both of those, it's exactly that. What is the hurdle? What is the piece? And it's probably yourself most of the time. Like, what's holding you back is all of those negative thoughts that you have, those conversations you have with yourself in the middle of the night where you think so-and-so is going to say this, or your mum paid for this, so she's going to be really mad at if you do that, and what if it doesn't work out, and what if you look stupid, and it's that self bit. And I think if you can just look yourself in the eye and go, but what does it look like if I don't? Like, what will those conversations be? That regret, that, you know, self pity that you didn't try. I always think about what I'd say to myself on my deathbed, really, as morbid as that sounds. I'd want to be like cheering myself on and be like, hell girl, you joined the circus and ran away with the circus. You pivoted, you like, you know, you got on with it through the toughest time that the world's ever seen. Like, I want to be on my deathbed looking back with no regrets.
I love that. And it's not arrogant. So I was at an event with Theo Pathetis, and Junior from NatWest was on stage, and he said it's not bragging if it's true. And I think for a lot of business owners who are naturally introverted or even extroverted as performers, we are so hard on ourselves. And that mindset shift for me of it's not bragging if it's true has really helped sort of move me forward and get out there a bit more and go, you know, look at me, I've released a book, I'm a bestseller, I've won these awards. Like, I think that's definitely, as business owners, we need to be a bit more positive with ourselves and give ourselves that kick up the backside, or find somebody else in our industry, or find somebody else that's an entrepreneur like us that can sort of cheerlead us along. I think the collaboration really helps. So I guess one piece of advice for any fellow business owners that are listening to this, they're probably going to listen to this if they see the headline as I'm unemployable. So what's your top tips or piece of advice for business owners who probably feel unemployable too?
I mean, we're a really cool gang of unemployable people doing really, really, really cool things. So come and join us. Like, don't sit on the sideline overthinking things. Like, if you feel like that, believe me, I mean, have a look around. You'll see people that are doing exactly what you want to do, and you don't fit in over there. There's a community, there's a space, there's people that are doing what you want to do. And I don't mean specifically, I mean the unemployable bit, the building businesses. Come and join us. And Stephanie and I were talking over on the podcast that I've just released, that there's no gatekeeping, or there is to a degree across some communities, but not everywhere. And there's such a real openness coming about in this new era of entrepreneurship. So the best bit of advice is take the leap, just do it. Don't do it alone. Come and find communities, come and find people that support you, cheerlead you, have done it before. Have that person that you know, that's a step ahead of you. I've got several that are a step ahead of me, some that I ask questions of, some that I just watch because, you know, it's intimidating to go and speak to them. But, you know, always got a North Star that I'm looking and thinking, how have they done it? What have they done? What can I ask of them? How can I achieve that? But on the same breath, being really true to me.
I love that. Absolutely. Looking at somebody that's not, and I agree, someone that's 1 or 2 steps ahead of you is far more real and tangible to you. And I think it's easier than to look at the ones who are 20 steps ahead of you and you're like, I'm never going to be like them. Because you will get there if you keep putting the work in. One question I always ask guests when they come on the podcast is, if you could sum up your business, so more than one of them for you, in one word, what would that one word be and why?
Community. A community. Both businesses are based on community. I've brought people together who are supporting each other, who are you know, really passionate about being part of it, about not letting each other down in terms of the performance elements. Like, everyone's in it together, building communities. I've been people's godparents from people that I've, you know, they've worked for me. I've been to people's weddings, hen parties. We're family and community, and the same thing's happening with Performerpreneur. To build a business is like raising a child. You need a village, you need community, you need people. So I hope they feel the same about me. Like, I hope they feel, the people that are in my businesses and my circles, they feel that it's a community and a safe space to be.
Absolutely. I came in and did a training for your community, well, a year ago now. And, you know, I felt welcome. It is a really lovely space to be. So for those that want to find you, do you want to tell people where to find you, and then we'll pop it in the show notes too?
Absolutely, thank you. Manic Stage Productions, which I've just spoken about, which was my first pivot, is the entertainment company. So if you have a big event or something you want to celebrate, then we can add the fire and the showgirls and the sparkle to that. But the community and the business that I'm super passionate about and building rapidly at the moment is Performerpreneur, and it's for creatives and entertainment industry people to come and be surrounded by support and accountability to build their business and step into the new spotlight. So Performerpreneur on Instagram, website, Facebook, same as you, Twitter, X, whatever it's called, it's everywhere, and the podcast as well. And the book. I've got a book. We're so similar. I have a book as well.
I've got your planner from last year as well.
All the things I've done. Yeah, planner, book, course, you name it, I've tried.
I think if anybody gets anything from this episode, it's that you can do whatever you want to do in your business. It doesn't matter how many different tangents we go off on. If it's true to you and it's what you want to do and you're passionate about, you'll make it work.
Authenticity, 100%. And I know the word gets bashed around a lot, but when you can sleep at night and you've done it from the heart and it excites you and it's authentic and it's true, there's really no stopping you.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for joining me. That does bring me to the end of another episode of the 3Bs podcast. I hope you found it useful. If you have, like, rate, review and subscribe wherever you are. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get notified next week for next week's episode. Bye. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the 3Bs podcast. I hope you found it useful and that you're walking away with some motivation, inspiration or education to help you build a better business. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and of course connect with us on social media for more insights, tips, and behind the scenes content. Your next step in building a better business is just a click away. I can't wait to connect with you, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.